to have you with us in the 9 p.m. edition of the Urban Debate. We should focus now to the poll-bound state of Tamil Nadu, where IT raids today were carried out in the middle of the polling season, carried out on several of DMK's leader, including the DMK chief's son-in-law, Senthil Balaji. And then DMK candidate from Karur, Karthik Mohan, was also raided. Son of DMK's Anna Nagar candidate, Annadurai, was also raided. And the MP of DMK was also raided today. Now, obviously, as these activities took place, the opposition parties, not just DMK, but the Congress and the TMC and others, slammed the BJP, accusing the centre of misusing the central agencies. MK Stalin penned an emotional letter even as these raids were being carried out to his party cadre, asking the cadre to ensure that they win this election, that they come out victorious out of this, that they will face all the troubles together because the party is supposed to win. These are attempts by the BJP to malign the image of DMK, and selective raids have now been unleashed. But these are not the first set of raids or agency action that we've seen. Just before this, M party's treasurer, M the party launched by Kamal Hassan, their treasurer was raided, money seized. Relatives of Minister MC Sampath was also raided just a few days ago. DMK MLA EV Velu was raided, though nothing major was reported from that. And of course, now this big one. So tonight I want to talk about not just this specific action, and if it is selective and if it is timed to the election only to target the opposition parties, but even talk about the instances of other bodies, institutions, agencies and their action, and ask the question that if all of them are being selective, I am not saying there isn't merit in any of these raids or even the seizures that are carried out by Election Commission, but are they selective is the question. Kovai Sathyan, spokesperson for AIADMK, joins us this evening. Manu Sundaram, spokesperson for the DMK. A. Gopanna of the Congress Party, and Narayanan Tirupati of the BJP, also with us this evening. Let me begin with Mr. Tirupati, because the charge is that your party is struggling to make a mark, and this is how BJP is actually going to get it done, by taking away all the money power of the rivals and getting them stuck in various cases.
In what way we are concerned, BJP has got no role in this to play. Income tax is an autonomous body, everybody knows that. And it is a regular affair, what's happening. As you rightly said, the raids conducted at various other parties also. Even today, Mr. Rajendra Balaji, a minister in AIADMK, his associate is being raided. So we need to understand that, suppose, I don't think in future, I think these political parties will request for closure of income tax department during elections. If that is so, every 6 months there is an election happening in India. So I don't know how these people are terming it as political vendetta. See, we have to understand one thing. During this income tax, during this election times, they get a lot of information. So income tax raids are happening. What is the problem? I don't understand. If you don't have any problem, cool. If you have any irregularities, you get caught. If you don't have any irregularities, no issues.
The problem is, Mr. Tirupati, that one, the people think that their candidate, their party is corrupt, and they don't wait for the judgment to come out. And the problem is that when you start your raids and you do your seizures and you block the accounts and put the locks on offices, you are hindering their election work in a sense as well. Now, you can say that they can turn around and prove to be innocent later on, but right now, this is how it is. The income tax department that reports to the finance ministry, which is currently under the BJP government.
Is it autonomous or not? Do you know that?
On paper, yes, perhaps.
Come on. You cannot deem in a big body like that. Then what about Election Commission?
I'm asking you, are these agencies being selective or not?
Is Election Commission in paper? How it is selective?
My view is irrelevant here, Mr. Tirupati.
Then BJP is irrelevant in this issue, because BJP has got nothing to do with this, because the income tax department, they take some information and prima facie they go, they search. If anything is there, fine, income tax department will do its duty. If it is not there, fine, let them come out clean what is there. So why do you bring BJP here? Why do you bring the central government here? That's what. See, during elections, what it denotes during elections, the unaccounted money comes. There is a leakage from the inner party itself. That's what Mr. Dravida Murugan of DMK very clearly said before 3 months. He said that our own party men, they are writing to income tax and they are giving all the leads to income tax. That is what Mr. Dravida Murugan had said. So they let them have their house in order first. Probably these leaks are from DMK.
Okay, let me get in Manu Sundaram then. What does BJP really have to do here? They barely win the game, perhaps even they know it.
Well, I'm sorry to say this, but let me clear a fallacy up to begin with. The Income Tax Act sets up the Department of Income Tax, and the Income Tax Department reports, as you rightly pointed out, Tanvi, to the Finance Minister, the Central Finance Minister. And that is how our income taxes are raised or lowered with each budget. Now, I don't think anybody in their right mind would think the Income Tax Department is an autonomous body. What is an autonomous body according to the Constitution and Article 324 is the Election Commission of India. And yesterday, Tanvi, I don't have to remind you or your viewers, we also saw how electronic voting machines were taken in the car of a BJP candidate in Assam. But be that as it may, I'll come to Tamil Nadu. In Tamil Nadu, as you pointed out about 2 weeks ago, I think it was on your sister channel Times Now, there was a sea voter survey which placed the DMK around 10 to 11 percentage points ahead of the AIADMK BJP. So now, what can the BJP do to make themselves somewhat relevant in the upcoming election? They try to manipulate it, and they've tried every trick. They've even had their superstar campaigners, Modi, Shah, Yogi Adityanath, but they're all doing more harm to their own party than good. So the last weapon in the BJP armory, unlawful as it might be, seems to be the misuse of central government agencies. And this has happened time and again. But what it shows us is a certain desperation. And I think that desperation has never led to any electoral victory in the past. Now, one of the worst kept secrets in Indian government is that the central investigating agencies are in alliance with the BJP. And now we've seen that work out. Now, is this a coincidence that it's happened 3 days before the elections? Maybe. But is it a coincidence that it's happened 2 days after the DMK leaders have criticized BJP leaders, including Mr. Modi and Mr. Shah? I don't think so. Look, there's been a number of income tax raids over the last few years. There was one in the residence of the AIADMK health minister in 2017 before the RK Nagar by-polls, where they got documentation of distribution of 89 crores, Tanvi. What has happened to that? So we do know a lot of these raids don't lead to anything or any proper criminal proceeding. But what it does, as you rightly pointed out, it stops a person from campaigning. It puts a few spokes in the wheel. So then what does it do ultimately? It disrupts the level playing field. The Election Commission is supposed to provide a level playing field for all candidates and all political parties. But by making sure one person, even though that person, in our case, the son-in-law of the DMK president, he holds no political office. He's not an MLA MP. He's not even an office bearer. But it ties him up, inside the house. He cannot go help support his father-in-law or anybody else.
But the argument from the other side is there was also a raid at an AIADMK minister's house. So then how are you saying this is being selective?
There is no BJP MLA or MP at all, right? Who's got money or there's been a tip-off. Now, this is our problem. Even in 2019, before the election, one of our candidates from the DMK for Lok Sabha, Ms. Kanimozhi, she was raided by the income tax. Again, it's the same story playing out. They make no seizures. Even in the last 2 weeks, when they raided 4 other DMK candidates, there was 0 seizures. So it is all just a tactic to scare, to intimidate. Of course, it's worked wonders when it comes to AIADMK. They are really scared out of their wits. But with the DMK, I suggest it would have the exact opposite sort of purpose, because
fair, interesting point that you've raised. Let me take that to Kovai. Kovai, is there a concern that this also backfires politically? That the DMK is actually able to milk it the way Stalin is trying to say, oh, look, we are being targeted and victimized. They're not even finding anything in these raids.
No, I can give you an example how DMK is crumbling under pressure. While the IT department has not mentioned anything on cash seizures, their senior leader comes out in open and giving cash details, stating that it was only 1.36 lakhs found and the department gave it back. It was only 8,000 K found another guy, they gave it back. What is the need to make such statements? If you say that you have nothing to worry about, you should have as well faced them rather than drawing the sympathy card, stating that no, we are Puritans, we are immaculate. Since this is in, they want to take revenge because we talked about BJP, and playing a sympathy card clearly says that they want to sway the minds of the people to their favor by crying out in open. What their leader did today in rally is that I have faced many more in emergency. This, I'm so brave, but I don't mind about IT raids. The other side, another leader comes out in open and giving out details of the raid. Isn't it anybody in a commoner can understand that they are crumbling under pressure? And yes, they don't find any other thing to fight on this election. They don't have anything to talk about the performance of the government. They don't have anything to talk about and say that no, let's come on a debate on these parameters, whatever you claim. I'm willing to debate on it. They are only interested to set up narratives, fake narratives that can sway the minds of the people.
But they are not setting this narrative. These income tax are very real. These income tax raids are extremely real.
No, that's an autonomous body and they have the right. In the eyes of the law, everybody is same. I cannot take an exceptions because I am the leader and my daughter is being raided. I am here in a rally. You cannot take these kinds of excuses trying to invoke sympathy in the minds of the people. So what, you are the leader and so what, she is your daughter. Should that income tax department categorize based on that? Should the intercase give you a VVIP statement saying that no, you cannot be rated or your daughter cannot be rated? Everybody is equal in the eyes of the law. So what's there? If you say you have nothing to hide, then what is the reason for you to not to face them?
Let Manu Sundaram respond to that.
Well, I find the argument completely fallacious. We have never said that they shouldn't be raids. All I'm saying is it's a bit rich of the BJP to claim that income tax is autonomous, which it is not by law at all. I don't know why my friend from the AIADMK is saying that as well. Secondly, like I said, this is not sheer coincidence that it happens 2-3 days before the elections. And like I said, ultimately, is there a level playing field, Tanvi? Like when one party is raided, they don't find anything. Ultimately, what it does is it stops us from campaigning. But like I said, it's really had the reverse effect. And I've seen it through the day and over the last couple of weeks. The entire sequence of events leading to different central agencies piling up on the DMK is seen here as acts of desperation, as acts of misplaced bravado, but also it has really motivated and stirred up our cadre. You know, they understand that these are the kind of underhanded tricks at play, and these are all done by parties which are, lusting for power. So therefore, we know that we have to fight harder, and that the votes that are counted, that are polled on the 6th of April and counted on the 2nd of May are all the more important. Of course, we will leave it to the people's judgment as to what's happened today is right or wrong. Morally, I think they have lost the battle. And of course, through the day, Tanvi, I hope you and your viewers have seen that through the day, every DMK MLA who's contesting this election has come out and said, please, Mr. Modi, come and campaign in my constituency. Your presence here, campaign here will really boost my chances of winning. And that is the spirit the DMK has shown today. We are not running away. You can raid all our other leaders' houses over the next 2 days or the 2 weeks so that you please. But every time you do raid, we are not setting the narrative. We are just coming to the people and telling them why it is unfair, why it is actuated by malafide, why it is not correct.
Okay, yes. Kovai Sathyan of AIADMK wants to respond.
I think I will get out of this debate.
Mr. Tirupati, coming to you next. Let him respond. I'll come to you next.
I'm idly waiting. I've been asking for a long time.
I'm sorry, I missed that. I didn't see your hand there. Yes. Okay, let Narayanan Tirupati speak first and then Kovai, I'll come to you.
Just go through the income tax press release. I don't know whether you have received it or not. The income tax press release says that...
I'm sure an autonomous body will only send it to you, sir, the BJP spokesperson, not to us.
I don't know. See, I have received it through.
Okay, yes,
from
make
one
your
of
point.
your-
Make your point. Yes.
From one of your people, from my media people only. So if you say that we have media in our state, fine, no problem. If Tanvi accepts, okay, fine. They say that they have yielded, the raids in searches in Chennai, Coimbatore and Karur has yielded several incriminating materials on tax evasion, and the searches still continue. Jayamurugan of SNJ Distilleries, who is close to DMK, a distillery owner, it is also being searched. So, see, my question is only this. During elections, the cash comes out or unaccounted money comes out. So there is a leakage. Will the searches should go or not? Income tax department should act or not? This is what the question. And he is asking about MLAs or MPs in Tamil Nadu, BJP. BJP don't have any MLAs or MPs in Tamil Nadu. Manu Sundaram knows, I believe. So when the income tax department gets information, they go and search it. What is your problem? If you don't have any problem, you have to, if you are a law-abiding citizen, you have to see, wait, you have to see and say goodbye, give a coffee and send them off. What is your problem?
Okay, okay. No, so I will tell you one thing, and I am not going to sit here and say one side is cleaner than the other, Mr. Tirupati, or that there may be no merit to these raids. We don't know it. We don't know enough to make that claim. But I'm just asking you, how many examples can you give me of the other side being raided? Or are you really telling me to believe that BJP and AIADMK together are the cleanest party with no dirty money involved, and all the dirty money that is doing the rounds right now in the election season is coming from DMK and Congress?
See, I am very, very clear. Today, Mr. Rajendra Balaji's aid is raided today. The search is on. And Makkal Nidhi Mayam's candidates were raided. And whatever, AIADMK, you said, MC Sampath's close aid was raided. So when they receive information, prima facie, if anything is there, evidence, the income tax department has got the right to go. You can't say that you have to do this, you have to do this. If you have information, you pass it on. Mr. Dore Murugan of the DMK treasurer, Mr. Dore Murugan, openly said that it is their party men who are giving all the leads, the unaccounted money information to the income tax department. So what I am trying to say is the DMK people who are not happy with the DMK leadership, they have given this information.
Okay.
I am telling you from the words of Dore Murugan.
Okay. Well, I mean, as long as you don't think that people are going to believe that all the dirty money and the dirty play and the corruption is only on the one side and not on the other side, because that's how tilted the entire action seems to be. So the question is about selective action and not on the merits of the action. That's the difference that I'm trying to make here.
Now, all are raided. I don't understand how you say it is selective. I don't understand. I don't understand. What
because one is to many more is not the correct comparison to make, Mr. Narayanan Tirupati. All right. Allow me, please, to bring in our fourth panelist as well. Indian Robert of the Congress Party joins us right now. Indian Robert, the Congress Party has also made this allegation that this is selective action. Well, who better to know that than the Congress Party? You yourself use these agencies against your own friends, DMK, when they pulled out of UPA. So, when they pulled out of the UPA, it took you very few days to raid MK Stalin. So, I'm sure you can actually make out the routine here.
Kindly don't compare the activity of Congress Party with the BJP one. Congress were taking action only against the fair people and fair cases, where BJP is just taking an action for revenge and to control the other political people. So it's absolutely a political vendetta. Even a small child in Tamil Nadu can understand what is actually happening. A simple question to the government is why they are not making a ride in a BJP ruling state. It's absolutely seen that they want to control the regional parties and the regional rural leaders to have a revenge on them.
No, why are you saying it's ridiculous? I'm sorry, there was merit. There is no merit here. There was merit then. I don't understand. These are the same guys. They were not corrupt. They were corrupt then and not corrupt today.
Absolutely, they are not corrupt. Absolutely.
From Tiruvannamalai, EV Velu, crores and crores of rupees were taken or not last week? Yes or no?
Absolutely, there is no proper merit over this case. Only a proper investigation can come out. It's just a political vendetta. That's what we can see from the Congress Party.
No, no, correct. But I'm saying that's exactly, you know it, it's political vendetta, Indian Robert, because your party mastered it as well. Whether it was targeting the, parties from SP to BSP in Uttar Pradesh to even your own allies, DMK, when you were in power. How is that comparison not fair? Please tell me. What gives you the higher moral ground today when you've done exactly the same thing then?
I said this, I'm just repeating the same thing what I said in the earlier stage, right? Congress took action or any right only based on genuine grounds. You're not like BJP to control anyone through IT. We didn't use IT. We didn't use IT for controlling or as a puppet to any of our allies or of our opposition parties, right? We were using the bodies as the genuine ones. Wherever we had a proper allegation, we did it in a very genuine way. This is what I want to say again and again.
Okay, BJP wants to respond to that. BJP wants to respond to that. Yes.
In 2014, there was a raid at the Arivalayam, the DMK office in the second floor. Under the ground floor, the alliance talks were on. So he's talking about all those things and he says it's genuine. I leave it to the public. But I'm telling you very clearly, it was around 6 crores of rupees taken from E.V. Velu's house or not, unaccounted money. That's what I'm asking. Crores of rupees were taken last week from Mr. E.V. Velu's house. Is it true or not?
Yeah.
Very, very, very clear.
So, well, I probably have to answer that, Tanvi, because E.V. Velu belongs to my party. Now, I find this...
Yes, Kovai, let him answer because the question is about the DMK leaders' house and the money found there, and then I'm coming to you.
See, there were two statements, Tanvi, made at the beginning of the show by the BJP representative. He said, the income tax department is autonomous. But then he seems to be the only person who gets the income tax press release. He seems to be the only person who gets all the information from the income tax about seizures. Because as far as I know, the income tax has made no amount available or released any press or media statement with regard to any seizure made in the house of any DMK leader. Of course, Tanvi, I will leave it to you. You're the judge of that and you'll mediate fairly. But let me make just 3 points and I will finish there. See, the BJP ADMK strategy is on 3 Ds: deception, distraction, and desperation. Deception is what we saw yesterday in Assam, EVMs going in the car of a BJP candidate and then completely a story cooked up to say that, the ECI, the most powerful election body in the world, does not have a spare car or a way to transport EVMs. Distraction. Why I say distraction is because today and tomorrow are the days that the ADMK BJP is actually giving cash forwards. So what do they want? They want us, me, opposition, media, you, all of us to focus on one part of the story when they go around distributing cash. That's the distraction. Third is the desperation. Over the last 4 weeks, they've tried everything and they really do not have an answer to the DMK campaign. And therefore, all of this, and I think people who've watched more than 1 or 2 elections can tell, and you would all agree that this is all very desperate to do it in the last minute. And it does not actually, it creates more sympathy, guys. This is all well understood by all politicians and all people who watch politics. You are not going to get any brownie points. People are not going to vote for you because you've done, an IT raid 3 days before, guys. This is politics 101. I thought my friends in the BJP and their leaders knew better, but maybe I was wrong, Tanvi.
Okay, but let me go across to AIADMK as well, because Kovai, if we consider that these to be valid instances for any action to be taken, what about the instances where your party leaders are also involved? For example, I'm told that there was a recent incident of an AIADMK candidate who was caught on video distributing cash. Now, I'm not too sure, but I haven't seen a report of a follow-up action there.
All I'm saying, our leaders will say that nobody is above the law. If anybody has done which is against the law, yes, they have to face the consequences of. There are instances wherein the police personnel in Trichy were being paid cash on a cover with a name addressed by DMK.
So then correct. So then how do I expect the same policemen to do the right thing? You are saying nobody is above the law, but the law is actually not acting fairly.
That's what my point is, that nobody is above the law. But the point what my friend Manu said is he talked about 3 Ds. But I can give it back to Manu. He is saying that nobody responded for DMK campaign for the last 10 days. I am responding to Manu on record. What the response is 3 Fs. The first F is fake narrative. Second F is fake allegations. Third narrative is fake promises to the people of Tamil Nadu. This is the response, and people of Tamil Nadu understand this clear, pretty much clear. I can't help if Manu is not updated. It's not BJP representative alone who got some information on IT rates. I too have got one. The groups and individuals are involved in different businesses ranging from distilleries and breweries, real estate, local financing, solar power, handling cash of politically exposed person for the ongoing elections. The raid were carried on those individuals and groups alleged to have been actively assisting in political cash distribution. Searches have been conducted to verify and unearth such activities too. Searches are still continuing. And this is the detail given out by the department. If Manu is not updated, we can't help it. So you cannot come here on the show and blame somebody saying that, see, they have the information, which means that they are the one who have done the raids or whatsoever it is. This is how I said, this is what the narrative
not only that,
which they are out. Yeah.
Not only that,
So-
Times now, I think all channels and also all magazines, newspapers carried out the news that from Ivevelu's house, crores and crores of rupees were seized. It's there in the media. I was quoting only media.
This is how when you're caught red-handed, you wanted to sway the minds of the people with these kinds of allegations, fake narrative, and fake promises.
Okay,
That's what
so
DMK is all about.
Manu, I hope you've heard the detailed press release has just come a few minutes ago on the raids that were carried out. Your response?
Well, the raids have unearthed no money. They just say that they have found further documents.
Then why your leader came out in
But
open and said that 20 lakh and 36
absolutely.
were taken?
No, sir,
It was
we
given back.
What is
welcome.
that incriminating
I
document?
say that. Yeah,
What is the
let
need
me
for your leader to
sir.
come out and say 8,000 was only taken and given back? What is
All
the
right.
need for
Okay,
your leader
Okay,
to
okay,
show
one at a
cash?
time, gentlemen. I can see the NDA ganging up, but let me hear his answer, and then one of you can ask a follow-up question. Yeah.
The party which is being raided is speaking with some level of confidence, but they seem to be very concerned and perturbed and very frenetic in their approach. But nevertheless, I'll argue. I can understand their nervousness. We do not mind you raiding us day in, day out. Find documents, you tell the media what you have, fair enough. The Income Tax Act gives the power to the Income Tax Department, the PMLA Act gives the ED Department, but please do not, for the sake of fairness and sincerity, tell people income tax is autonomous, one. So it does have some repercussions because the central government controls the Income Tax Department. And secondly, we do not mind all of this. All I'm telling you is, if you know the basics of politics, none of this has worked ever. So it is unbelievable, unfathomable for me to understand how you guys think that any of this will lead to anything other than political sympathy for us. Thirdly, what is the impact of past income tax rates, sir? There was, like I said, in RK Nagar byposts, documentation, like you said that there is some documentation. There was documentation found by the Income Tax Department in the residence of the AIADMK Health Minister. On that basis, Tanvi, you would remember in February 2017, the RK Nagar bypoll itself was countermanded, meaning it was rescinded and it was held 8 months later because there was so much cash distribution by the AIADMK. Now, what's happened since then? What's happened to this great documentation? The Income Tax Department is just being used as a pawn in the hands of the central government. Guys, if you have something concrete over the last 4 years, 5 years that you've both been in power, you could have done all of this. You could have raided every single DMK leader, member, office bearer, and so on. But doing it 2 days before an election, of course, people are going to wonder, what is this
But then here is the other side to it, that it's only days before the election that the dirty money actually comes out, Manu. The dirty money only comes out at that time.
Fair enough. And if we are all to believe that only one alliance is holier than thou and the other alliance is all,
But you are not denying the dirty money. You're just saying it's everybody. It's everybody. It's not just one side.
No, that's not what I meant. I was just paying the BJP back by its own coin.
Okay.
All I'm saying is that, see, there is no proof to this. All of this has to go to trial, Tanvi. You know that. And we cannot, hang people before, a court of law is decided.
Yes.
But let us say, for fairness, which BJP member has been taken to task for taking AVMs, along with them in Assam yesterday? I don't see any outrage from my BJP friends about that.
Come on now, that is you are expecting that. It's such an innocent mistake. The EC officials didn't know what car they were getting into, which turned out to be the car of a relative of the BJP candidate, isn't it, Mr. Tirupati?
That's what the income tax officials have said. I think we have to go by that. And they say that the car in which they were traveling with the EVM machines, the car got struck and somehow they have to go to the place. So they took some other car. That's what the income tax department has said. I think we have to believe that. Yes.
Okay, you wanted to make another point in response to what Manu Sundaram was saying before I wrap this up.
No. See, I will tell you what. Manu did not deny that they had money and all those things. My question is this:
I deny,
when
sir.
Manu
I
says
completely deny.
when Manu says no money was recovered in Eva Velu's house, money was recovered. That's what all the media says. At least the Hindu, which is very close to DMK, that says. So in almost all channels they say that. So you believe it or not? Otherwise, now the same media says that the incriminating documents have been taken. Yes or no? See, as you rightly said, it will go for trial. It will go for evaluation. You wait and do it. They are doing their duty. Why you are disturbing them? Why you are crying that it is a political vendetta?
Okay,
Income tax
okay.
is doing their duty.
I'm out of time. Of course, I don't know if we will ever find out the truth, because as it is with these political cases, they strike at the right time, they pick up pace and pick up heat at the right time, and then they're forgotten and dumped in some corner in the back once the elections are over, or once the need is fulfilled. I'm not saying that there isn't merit to it. Perhaps there are many more instances where raids should be carried out. Investigations must be done. There is no denying the fact that there is dirty money floating all around during election season. Take a look at the numbers, the amount of seizures that the Election Commission has done this time around. They have already, even before we've effectively gotten into full-fledged election mode, they've already made larger seizures than they did in 2016 with these same states. That's how much of dirty money is floating around. But is the action selective and only looking at the opposition parties? Statistics do show higher action against them. Could it be that they are more corrupt, or that somebody is being selective? I leave it to you to decide. Quick break. On the other side, we continue this conversation and actually talk about the Election Commission EVM controversy from Assam. So stay with me.